1st, 2026. The year is half over. And today I just wanted to share briefly some new campaign material for Susan Collins' Senate race here in Maine against Graham Platner. If I'm yelling a little bit, there's a fan on over here and it's like really warm and I don't want to shut it off, so please excuse me. I got something that came in the mail and I want to share it with you because this is stuff that nobody else is sharing because they're not in Maine, they just report the news. But I'm here in the middle of the action. And that's why I'm doing these shows on Susan Collins and Graham Platner, not because you necessarily think that this is, I don't know, something you are interested in, but as I said in an earlier show, looks can be deceiving because I think that this campaign between Susan and Graham is reflective of society right now. I think everything about it is showing us what's going on with society. It's really insane. So while this may not seem interesting to you, I think if you dig into it, it kind of is. Because as I said, it's Maine. Nobody cares about us. I'm here in Portland with a population of 70,000 and a dump truck outside my, or garbage to gardens truck beeping out there. It's just a boring city. I don't even know why tourists come here. Why should you care about a Senate race between a lifelong politician and some, I don't know, guy? Well, because it's on the news across the world. I've seen it on BBC, I've seen it on Australian news, I've seen it on every YouTuber, I swear, on all the mainstream channels. Suddenly, the world cares about us. And I think it's because this race isn't so much about power, who's going to have power, but it just reflects so much of society. Lifelong person versus Nazi. And in turn, that does reflect who will have power. So that's why I'm talking about it, and that's why I think it's interesting, is because it's just something that I think may have happened years ago, and it's probably happened 1,000 times before. Incumbent versus a newbie. But this time it's different. This time I really feel like things have changed. Society has changed. Society is a scam, as I've been saying, but it's also broken. So, anyways, today I wanted to share some campaign literature from Susan Collins that came in the mail. I think it's kind of interesting, her approach, because she can rely on her past, and I found, or just looking at this today, she's not digging on Graham. It's just about, here's what I have done in office. The assumption is, here's what I'm going to do next. Whereas in Graham can't do that, and his campaign is all Republicans are bad. Trump is bad. Susan is bad. Republicans are bad. Have I said that already? That's it. That's all he's got. But she can rely on the past, so it's a very interesting thing. She seems to be taking the high road and not attacking this way. Anyways. There's TV commercials and stuff too, but I'm not going to get into those. So I want to look at this little flyer that came today. Also because, I swear, they watched my past video and took my advice. I ripped her thing apart. I was like, this is vague, the photos are identical, this is bad. And they changed it. I doubt they watched my video, but if they did, good job, you achieved it. So let's look at this little campaign flyer. I love campaign flyers. All my life, I've always loved them. When my friends would run for elections and they'd send something out, I'd always sort of study it and go, yeah, okay, this is good or this is bad. Actually, let's see if I have something here from the past that might be interesting. Whoops, dropping things. What am I dropping? A pin. A pin that says Tom McMillan Green Party. Because you know what? When folks I know run for stuff, I keep it. Anyways, I might have an interesting campaign piece in here. We'll look afterwards. But first, let's get to Susan Collins. What she said in this flyer that just came to my house. So, big picture of her with a hockey shirt, and hockey is now the biggest thing in the world here in Maine. I know, because they meet the Hearts of Pine across the street, and they're selling out. Basically, this season was sold out with season tickets in 15 minutes, and it's the biggest thing ever. No one talked about it until 2 years ago, and now everyone in Maine is a hockey fan. I don't know. So she's wearing a shirt, you can't really see it, but it says Maine Hockey. That's a nice touch. And so the thing says Susan Collins, putting Maine first, always. I criticized in the last video Graham Platner's flyers. Oh, and apologies if this is backwards on your screen. But I criticized Graham Platner because it seemed like he was fighting Trump and doing things that wasn't relevant to Mainers. He was trying to be some national guy, and we care about Maine. Your job is to care about Maine and represent Maine. I don't care what your feelings are about international shit. And here she is clearly stating what I said is his problem. She is putting Mainers first. That's a nice touch. And then it says she is fighting for lower costs and better jobs, protecting our families by fighting drug traffickers, and keeping girls' sports fair. Last time I said her thing was crap, and you can watch that video. It was just a couple weeks ago, right after the primary, and I said she had all this vague stuff. She's done 600 projects, it said, but what are they? Here, she's super specific with things that are important to us, and this is such an amazing improvement. And we're going to talk more about this because it details on the back. And then it says down here, a quote from the Bangor Daily News, Trump signs funding bill with nearly $250 million for Maine projects pushed by Susan Collins. So that kind of also highlights the bigger picture, and it gives you something else that she's done and the success that she's had. She actually got Trump to sign a bill. So she is doing things. Now, we still don't know what these projects are, whatever. But this is such a dramatic improvement over her super vague campaign literature before. And then it says something about scan to learn about your absentee and early voting options. And before I go any further, we're going to flip to the other side. And this is actually from the Lead Maine Committee and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee, which is out of Bangor. I did criticize the last thing that I got being out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's nice to see a Bangor address, and it's Bangor, not Bangor. Please don't say that. Us Mainers hate when you call it Bangor, Maine. It's not. Anyways, on the back, it has a picture of Susan in a nice suit, which is cool because it's a different picture than her in her hockey outfit. And on the last bit of thing I had, it had the exact same photo, just about same pose. So it's nice to see her in a different place. It says on the bottom, Senator Susan Collins, real results for Maine, because she can get real results. Graham Platner can just promise and has no track record of anything other than controversy. So then it says, Susan Collins, our senator, delivering for Maine. So it said, look at what she's doing. And I did criticize her because I wasn't sure what she did. I feel like she hasn't done a lot. A lot of people feel like she is just a pawn of Trump. I have said no, she's a pawn of lobbyists. Whatever. But this is emphasizing that, hey, she might be a pawn, but she's getting things done. Okay, so let's read what this says. Fighting for lower costs and better jobs, Senator Collins has successfully fought for more access to workforce training and skills development so Mainers can secure good-paying jobs and provide for their families. So I apologize if I was talking too fast. I didn't even realize I was. There's a comment that says I was. And why us English speakers talk so fast? Honestly, I listen to people who speak Spanish, and I swear they talk faster than any of us. While I've heard German speakers spout so fast, they're breaking time limits. Every person, every language, we all speak fast. Anyways, and I've also been told I look like Billy Bob Thornton, which I've been told before, but okay, whatever. I don't see that, but I've been told that many times. Anyways, I'll try to slow down a little bit. My apologies. But also remember, you can slow the video down after I stream it. I tend to watch videos at 2 times the speed, So fast things for me just are kind of normal. Anyways, I'll repeat what I just said because I distracted myself. She is fighting for lower costs and better jobs. Very specific to things we give a shit about. Senator Collins has successfully fought for more access to workforce training and skills development. Okay, that's good. So Mainers can secure good paying jobs and provide for their families. Okay, very specific. Love this on campaign literature. You're telling us not just what we want to hear, we want lower jobs and lower costs and better jobs, but you're saying what you've done. You've given us training and skills. Great. The fact that we have to go get retraining in this society because if you're 50, you're too old, or if you're 40, people wonder if you know how to use a computer, sucks. I hear so many people going, I lost my job at 58 and they're telling me I should go retrain and intern someplace. I've been working all my life. What's wrong with society? It's not her fault, but it's a shame that we're in that situation. I don't really know if telling people they need to retrain so they can get good paying jobs is a selling point, but I like the fact that she's specific. Please be specific on your campaign literature. I hate campaign literature that is not specific. So the second point says, protecting families by fighting drug traffickers. So we have a bad drug problem here. It's getting worse and worse, and nobody cares. Or people care, but they just talk. They don't do anything about it. I was in Las Vegas a year ago, walking down right off the strip at 10 o'clock at night, walking over people in the dark, druggies, whatever, rough areas. I went down one street at one point that had no lighting other than a tattoo parlor and a sex shop. I felt safer than I do walking to work here in Portland, Maine, where I will encounter 12 druggies within 2 to 3 blocks. We have a really big problem, and it's shocking. It's shocking. I could go into the details of maybe how it developed, but it's bad and it's getting worse, and it drives a lot of people off who live here in the state. They don't want to come downtown. Businesses don't want to open downtown, and tourists don't want to visit because it's worse than Las Vegas. I went to New York 2 years ago. I figure I lived in New York City for 6 years. I know that city really well, or I used to. Yet, I came back and I felt less safe here. I felt less safe here than in New York City. Bad sign. But this is something really important to us, so she's clarifying that straight up. Good job. So then it says she co-sponsored the Halt Fentanyl Act, keeping lethal drugs off of our streets and away from our children and our families, emphasizing this conservative point of families and children. That's important. Good. Fentanyl is a huge problem. Can't tell you how many people I walk by going to work and they're just standing there strung out, bent over. Liberals in Portland have actually said that what we should do is everyone carries Narcan. That's how we should fight the problem, and set up little overdose spots where you can pick up a phone if you're overdosing and the cops will come and carry fentanyl. That's the solution of our city council. That's not a solution. That just makes the problem worse. If you know you can overdose and be safe, you're more likely to overdose. And if you know that everyone is carrying Narcan, you're not going to worry about it. That's not how you end drugs. That's how you keep it going. She's talking about ending it. Good job. Then it says, keeping girls' sports fair. Senator Collins supported legislation to clarify Title IX to ensure fair and safe athletic competition for girls and young women. Yes, keep women. In women's sports, keep men in men's sports. End of story. And what is a woman? We know exactly what a woman is. What is a man? We know exactly what it is. And so does the left in certain conversations. They suddenly will know when it matters. We have gendered sports for a reason. It's not a random societal oppression thing that just developed overnight because of mean white men. It's because we need to recognize that there are physical differences between the body, and anyone who says there isn't is off the frickin' rocker. This is really important, and I'm so happy to see her talking about Title IX in this campaign literature. So I give kudos, that's all this says, to Susan Collins for her brand new campaign literature. It is pretty much perfect. The only thing I hate is this training and skills development, because that's just sort of sad that we are in that state of society. But other than that, it's perfect. So kudos to her. This is what Susan Collins is now campaigning on. I think it's a good approach. I think this is what we want out of a politician. You can use this as a model for your campaign or anyone. If you're doing campaigns, this is a good approach to campaigning. It tells us what we want to hear. It gives you information about what she's done and what she is going to do. She is going to probably continue to fight all this or things within this line. It's sort of assumed. This is perfect literature versus Graham Platner, who was all about Republicans are bad, defeat Trump. Republicans are bad, defeat Trump. It's just like, oh, people need to get a little educated when it comes to campaign literature. Oh, this is a thing of stuff I keep. I'm going to share something with you. We're going to go off now on some other campaign literature. This is the campaign literature talk today. This is something I bought from 1972. It went in the mail. Sorry, again, it's backwards. And it says The Republican Image. And you open it up and you see re-elect the president, Mr. Richard Nixon. That is 1972 campaign literature, people. I don't know if I'd equate Nixon with Lincoln, but it's simple, it's to the point, it came to your home. I had to buy it when I saw it. I thought it was fascinating. Okay, oh. Yep, I don't think I have what I wanted to share. So a friend of mine, some years ago, was running for city council, and no, I think I got rid of it. Oh, how times have changed. Bernie 2026, and now nobody likes him. My friend was running and put a noose right as the background image of his campaign literature, and then wondered why everybody ripped him apart on why everyone ripped him apart. It was just like, do you understand how the power of images work? I was hoping I kept it, but it looks like I didn't. Yeah, no, it was really bad. Images are so powerful. That's why I brought up Susan Collins in the last video, having the same photo twice, or bringing it up here about her having hockey on her shirt. That's just real important thing. And why Graham had on his flyer pictures of the Indian chief, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders. Yeah, there's nothing here I wanted to show. I wanted to show you that noose thing, but I don't have it. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say today. And they're about to wash the streets, so it's been a noisy day, which might be why I was talking a little fast, was to sort of get my point across before noise came. But such is life. Anyways, just checking in here from Portland, Maine, in the middle of the campaign for Susan Collins and Graham Platner, which, if this is the future of campaigns, I don't know. I don't know what's next. We'll see. Things are changing. In 2.5 years, I believe MAGA will no longer exist. Not because it will go extinct, but because Donald Trump won't be in the White House. What comes next? Who knows? So with that, I'm going to say thank you for joining me. Just touching in today. And thank you for hanging out. And I wish you all the best in your day. Thank you for the comments. And I'll try not to talk so fast, though I probably went back and I'm still talking fast. But such is life.